reactor and the regenerative biosteel. And if you don't put much thought into it, you're going to jump for the biosteel right away. Don't. Earlier I was talking about the science vessel, how it can heal, and how it's amazing. Well, it does that by using energy. And if you look at the cellular reactor, it gives you a massive increase in that flexibility, in that amount of energy. So if you do get science vessels, you have to get cellular reactor. I can't support that any more than I already am. And if you get those two together, you have regenerative biosteel on a massive amount of steroids. This is nice, but practically speaking, it is not time efficient in any manner you need. So go ahead and get cellular reactor, and then that applies to, if you did choose ravens, it still applies to ravens, and it greatly increases their effectiveness. It'll apply to your medics on the ground. It'll apply to dropships, ghost, everything. Definitely one of the best upgrades in the game, and you might overlook it, which would be a shame. Last up, we have the pretty much mind control tower, or the side disruptor. The Hive Mind Emulator would be a very, very good thing if it didn't require a little bit of extra oversight. The great thing about the side disruptor is it's fire and forget. Once you put it down, it just continually pounds out damage, or not damage, but the AoE snare, and you can pretty much forget about it for the duration of what you're doing, which is very good because on Brutal, you shouldn't be sitting still. You should always be able to do something, attack, expand, or harass. So it's great to have fire and forget defenses like that, whereas the Hive Mind Emulator feels a little more like a novelty item. While if you did have this very ideal attack coming, it would be great, but realistically, how many times do you have one big unit that is able to effortlessly counter all the other units it came with, running straight to a Hive Mind Emulator? And the answer is not often at all, or ever. So that's my basic breakdown. In summary, if you're doing this on Brutal or Hard, think about Vanadium Plating. If not, either one's fine. Orbital Depot, but if you find yourself doing a lot of carrier or mineral intensive tier 3 tech massing at the end of the game, this might be a little better for you. Command Center Reactor, Science Vessel, Tech Reactor, Fortified Bunker if you're doing this on Brutal for sure. If you're doing on Hard, probably Fortified Bunker. If you're doing it on Casual or Normal, either one will do. These aren't very good options at all. I'm quite disappointed, but I'd go Perdition Turret if you have trouble with Zerg, but if you like to expand and you like to have a very vulnerable defense, at your expansion, Planetary Fortress might be better. So this one, if you've never used a Predator, just for fun at the very least, go ahead and get it on 1 or 2 missions when you play against Zerg and build just 3 or 4 of them and thoroughly enjoy that. Hercules might be the more practical choice, but it's only going to get to be the star on just a handful of missions. If you get the Science Vessel up here, get this or you're going to hate yourself. And even if you get the Raven, you really should get this anyways. This really isn't that good. The rate's pretty slow and it's not really going to make a difference. A side disruptor, because it's fire and forget, but if you are the master of macro and micro, you might get a little more out of the Hive Mind Emulator. To finish it up, we're going to hop over to the Cantina. You have a sweet arcade game over here. You have news up here. If you watch 10 news missions, you'll get that Kate Lockwell portrait. You'll have like various items up here from doing different missions. You can click on these people for short little chats. That's a Night Elf from World of Warcraft. So yeah, if you know how to make the jukebox work, let me know, because I still haven't figured that out.
You came to the right place.
Finally, we have the Mercenary Tavern, and I actually like to get mercenaries, because, except for fire bats, I never have a function for them. But if you like to get mercenaries, you should make sure that your playstyle suits them well. You have to keep in mind that they cost more than the unit that they're representing. For instance, a war pig is better than a marine. So keep that in mind when you're paying for the actual unit. I mean, that is a very substantial upgrade. And when you do that, make sure that your war pigs are in front of your marines, because they are a much better tank, and you're going to get the most out of your marines, and they're going to be most cost effective when they're behind something bigger, not getting shot at. If you hate mercenaries, please get the battlecruiser pirate ship towards the very end, because oh, that wasn't a spoiler. Well, it was. Get the battlecruiser one at the very end, because space pirates are fantastic. So I think that would be it for the quick tour. Although the tour wasn't that. Although the tour wasn't exactly that quick. Before I go ahead and send you off on your adventure, I'm going to talk to you about one more thing that's a minor spoiler that won't actually ruin the story, just more of how the campaign will work in progression. So if you want to stop listening, do that now. To get all 29 missions done, you're going to have to go back to a save point, or something I'm going to tell you about in a moment. For example, there's a mission on the planet Haven, that requires you to choose between two sides, and they actually both have distinct rewards and effects. So you're gonna have to choose, and if you choose, you don't actually get all 29. You end up with 25 or 26 at the end. So instead of going back through the entire campaign to redo them, which I may or may have not done, you can actually come here and you'll have the option. None of them are listed here, but you will have the option to go ahead and redo the one you didn't choose. Now, you won't get the research points applied to it, but it will be available to get done for the achievement. So that would be the end of this walkthrough, kind of basics to the campaign, a few tips, a few tricks, and a bunch of recommendations. If you like what you've seen, you should definitely look at the Shokz Starcraft 2 guide, which I will go ahead and put an annotation for, and at the very least take a look at it. Great guide, has a 60-day money-back guarantee, and yeah, well worth looking at the very, very least.